We are speaking with Chris Sheldrick, the CEO and the co-founder of what3words. Now, in case you don't know or aren't aware of what3words, it is a location app or a location service that enables you to pinpoint your exact location on the face of this earth. Now, why is that important and how is it relevant to cars? That's what we want to know. So, Chris, thank you for speaking to us and welcome. Why don't you just tell us briefly what is what3words?
Pleasure, and thank you, Sergius. So what3words is a global address system. We wanted to make somewhere a very easy way to talk about anywhere on the planet. So we divided the world into 3-meter squares, and there's 57 trillion of those across the world. And we've named each one with 3 words from the dictionary. So something like table, chair, spoon, or coffee, branch, pyramid, so on and so on, right from the North Pole to the South Pole. And it just means for all of those places which don't have an address, which is understood, you can find a 3-word address using the what3words app. You can give that to somebody else. They can type in or speak the 3 words, and then they can navigate to exactly that 3-meter square.
Exactly. Right. So that sounds quite exciting, Chris. In fact, and I've used the app when it came to India. I think it with was it Tata that you all first?
That's right.
Right. So I checked it out and I could see some potential in pinpointing an exact location for areas that don't have an address, let's say. Probably out on a boat. I like kayaking a bit, and probably you want to meet someone at a point in the river. Yeah, it's pretty handy as well. But what is the application for a car user? Because to be honest, I use Google a lot, Google Maps, and I can share the location quite easily, my exact location as well. So what would you say is the benefit to an automotive user over?
Yeah, no, I understand. So I think for any driver, when you're wanting to navigate to a destination, we put up in life with so many cases where people say, oh, this is the address, but then actually your phone will take you round the back and round the side, and then actually you've got to take the next left, and actually the real entrance is somewhere else. And having gone plenty of times around various parts of India, this is just the case in India, just like it is where I live in a village in the countryside in the UK. No one can find my house. I live on a farm. And so I think really it's about every driver being able to turn up to the exact 3-meter square they want to go to without directions, without maps, without explanations. And in 2022, this should be an easy thing available to all of us.
Right. So what you're saying essentially is that while let's say the Autocar India office is marked on Google, its exact entry, the gate through which you enter, is what3words you could share that particular entry.
You can indeed. Now, I mean, it's great that you have a place name which is recognized on the big mapping apps, but there are many businesses and people and places that don't. I've spent a lot of time in Mumbai, in all sorts of parts of the town, and there are many areas of the town where there's nothing at all marked on the big mapping apps, and it's incredibly informal how locations are shared. And then you think about, I've been on the outskirts of Chennai, again, places that simply do not appear and are not named. And so, I mean, yes, it's definitely helpful to be at the right gate instead of around the side. But there are many worse problems, I think, with addresses. And so we can tackle all of those. I think it doesn't really matter what address problem you're having. what3words can solve all of them.
Okay. So basically, if I were to maybe distill this, it's a layer on top of a regular navigation system.
That is correct. So what3words, we don't make maps. We don't make navigation systems. We are a layer on top that can fit with any existing map or navigation product.
Okay. I get that. I get that now. Like I said, to be honest, I wasn't very clear with what is the utility of that. On that same note, though, in applications like, let's say, WhatsApp, or even Google Maps, you can also share your exact pin, which is if you're standing there or zoom in at a particular point. Again, versus this kind of a facility, what would you say is the real need for what3words?
So I think that's a really good point. There are many apps which let you share your current location by sharing a pin on the map. But I think what's really important is that a lot of the locations we want to share are not our current location at this moment. And that can range from someone being in an office, but then wanting to share, the gate, to then thinking about, well, actually, if I'm going to share it on this app, what happens if somebody wants to use a different app to get there? So for example, Apple Maps links, Google Maps links, a lot of these do not work cross-platform. I can't then get into my, Tata car or Mahindra car and use a link which was generated by WhatsApp, let's say. So I think that's when we always resort to addresses. Think about all the times you go somewhere else for a meeting, people share the address because it's cross-platform. And that is exactly how what3words is also positioned. It's cross-platform. It doesn't matter what, what you use to generate the location. It's important to be able to use it everywhere.
Got that. So essentially, if it's Here Maps, Google Maps, or Apple, what you're saying is essentially you can use it across.
That is exactly it. And we are integrating bit by bit with every mapping and navigation app in the world to get to exactly that point.
Oh, okay. So on that note, Chris, yesterday we had the launch of an Indian-built Map My India. I don't know if you're familiar with the company. Okay, so are you all integrated with Map My India as well?
Not yet, but we would love to be. They're definitely a company that we think is doing really innovative things, and we would love to work with them.
Okay, great, got that. So and on the cars, like we spoke earlier, y'all are integrated into Tata. I think y'all are on Mahindra as well. Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken, has what3words as well. How do you use that in a car? How do you use what's the interface to use on a phone? I know it's simple enough. You open the what3words app or the website, but how do you do that on a car while you're driving?
So all of the three car brands you just mentioned, Mercedes, Tata, Mahindra, you can get into the car and you can just speak the 3 words, which is of course so much easier. I just get in, I say table, chair, spoon, and it's going to then navigate me to that destination, which is so much easier than having to type letter by letter a complicated address, which still may not be accurate. So we think that the voice control element, and Mahindra was the first car company with an SUV to actually build us in through Amazon Alexa, which is becoming increasingly popular in India as well. And so each of them have their own voice interfaces, but I think, yes, the ability to get into a car, say 3 words, and it take you there is so easy for the consumer.
Right. So if someone shares that location with you, we're meeting at, let's say, so-and-so gate or so-and-so building's entry, or maybe a point up on a hill, the location would also come with those 3 words.
Right. I mean, so many of my friends, they'll just WhatsApp me, and the WhatsApp will just say custard cushion depart. And I will get into my car and I will say custard cushion depart. And that's it. I know that's where they want to meet me. Right. And off we go.
Okay. Got that. Also, on the thing of sharing locations, there's been a lot of security issues like Street View. We've not had that in India for a long time. Because the government had some issues about Street View. With what3words, are there any concerns about this thing, or I mean, I don't think there should be, but have you all run into any problems with?
No. So one of the good things about how we can give what3words to our business partners is that we can actually give them our code base and they can run it on their own infrastructure. So in many cases, we don't even get real-time data at all. And so there is always the option for any customer to just take our code, run it themselves. And that's a really important part of what we do. It works offline. Basically, our tech is 1 5 megabyte file, and we can license that to individual businesses.
Okay. Yep. That's interesting. And speaking about cars, Chris, I know we spoke about the 3 brands. Are there any others in the pipeline that you are expanding to both internationally and in India?
Absolutely. So there's been a few recent announcements with Subaru, Jaguar Land Rover, Lotus, Lamborghini, and then some of the electric vehicle brands as well, VinFast, Volta Trucks. So I think we're actually up to about 17 car brands that we've now signed deals with. So really for us, we won't stop in the car world until we have every OEM integrated with what3words, because we're just that layer on top. It doesn't, people can keep using what they're using, and what3words will be a layer on top. So we're now talking to the other Indian OEMs, of course, but it's brilliant to have Tata and Mahindra as 2 massive household names as our flagship customers there. But we are now talking to everybody else, of course. Right.
And I suppose with bikes too, with bikes today that do have that facility of a navigation system, like, for example, a lot of the electric bikes, you would be able to integrate with them too.
Absolutely. So TVS is one that we've already integrated with in India, of course, huge brand. And I think the two-wheelers is a really fast-growing market, and we're very keen on getting into the other ones too. So now we have TVS. We're speaking to a bunch of the other two-wheelers.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. I suppose for you and for us. The there was one question though that I did have and when you mentioned this earlier, it's so easy to speak 3 words. What about pronunciation? Because around the world, and you're a global service, right? So
Mhm.
those 3 words would be pronounced in very, very different ways. So how would I mean, yeah, how do you manage that?
So there's a couple of things. One is that the voice recognition companies who actually offer different, let's say, in English packages. So there'll be an India English package as well as a US and a UK English. So a lot of them are optimized like that. But on top of that, the way we've actually assigned the 3-word addresses, you'll have table chair spoon somewhere and table chairs spoon somewhere else. So any sort of nearby or sounding similar 3 words like this, we try to space them as far apart as we can, often in other countries. So it's really easy then for the car to go, look, Sergius or the driver is in Mumbai. He probably doesn't want to drive to Tokyo right now. He probably wants to drive to East Mumbai. So if it's undecided by a couple of possibilities, it gets it right. So people say to us, how is your accuracy so good? Really, a lot of it's based around how we designed the system. And then the voice recognition companies are working really hard too. And worth saying that we do offer this in 12 Indian languages. So this is not an English only system. We have Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, many others. We can send you a list. And we would love to bring this with voice recognition in those languages to Indian users, because if people can use their native language, we think they'll be much happier. So this is really important to us.
True. So that's interesting. In fact, so what you're essentially saying is that if there are two similar sounding words,
yeah,
they are in geographically very different places.
Exactly. Very high probability that's the case. So it makes it so easy.
Right. So my car system, yeah, you're right. So Google is not going to route me to Tokyo. They know, well, I probably can't drive there from Mumbai.
Exactly. Or if it did, at least you could sit there and go, something feels wrong. But that's the thing. Most of the cars, they integrate what we call our auto suggest, which is this intelligent function, which looks at where the driver is, looks at what they probably meant to say, and the accuracy is near on 100%.
Right. Awesome. And Chris, one question. This is more maybe a business related question, rather than a consumer one. But what's the revenue model for what3words? You are, from what I understand, a free service, at least for now. Will this move into a paid model, or how do you monetize?
So we're free for consumers. So all end users don't pay anything for the service. So car navigation systems or any business that is used to paying for address data, we charge them. So every time you get a ride-hailing app and you type in an address or place name you want to go to, that service will be paying somebody to turn that text into the coordinates. Now, the consumer doesn't pay, the business pays. So we just charge exactly the same. So we're not reinventing the wheel on our business model. It works very well. But yes, importantly, free for all consumers, and the what3words app itself is also free.
Okay. Great. That's great to hear, Chris. So yeah, thanks for speaking with us, Chris. We've got to know a lot about what3words. Like I said, honestly, I myself, despite having looked around, didn't quite get exactly what3words was trying to do. But I think, as you said and as we discussed, yeah, it's like a layer on top. Look forward to seeing it in more cars, and I hope we see you in India too. Are you planning to head here sometime soon?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was in Bangalore, I think the day before like COVID sort of hit. That was my last trip. I was actually speaking at an Amazon Alexa event out there. So yeah, I really hope to come back very soon. Now the borders are open. So I'm sure I'll be in Mumbai before long.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Nice speaking with you.